What's today? 11/3. All right, this section is called trigonometry. If you've got the calculator that you're supposed to have, or you have any kind of scientific calculator, there's 3 buttons right above, a couple rows above the 7, 8, and 9 that say sin, cos, and tan. Well, those are the buttons you're going to learn how to use from here going forward. Those are short for sine, cosine, and tangent. And sine, cosine, and tangent are all different ratios related to right triangles. Okay? We're going to say I'm not going to write trigonometry anymore. I'm going to use the word trig. A trig ratio is a ratio of the lengths of 2 sides of a right triangle. A trig ratio is the ratio of lengths of 2 sides of a right triangle. There are 3 trig ratios, and then there's an acronym to help you remember what each of the 3 ratios are equal to. So write down this acronym: SOH, CAH, TOA. You pronounce that SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. The SOH in SOHCAHTOA means that the sine of an angle, is equal to its opposite side over the hypotenuse. You see, the SOH means sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. The CAH, cosine of an angle, equals adjacent side over hypotenuse. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. CAH, CA. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent of an angle is equal to the opposite side divided by the adjacent side of the angle. Your TOA, tangent equals opposite over adjacent. Tan equals opposite over adjacent. That's the acronym. That's how it works. It should be written on top of your paper every time you're doing sine, cosine, tangent, trig ratios for the rest of your life. Okay? The first exercise that you're going to do is you're going to be asked to express each ratio as a fraction and as a decimal to the nearest hundredth. Now, in your calculators, since we're going to be rounding to the nearest hundredth, In your calculator, you push the green button, second. You push the period button, which behind the period button, down on the bottom below the 2, it says fix. You push second, fix 2. That tells your calculator to round everything 2 decimal places, because you're going to be working to the nearest hundredth. If you're going to be rounding to the nearest thousandth, then you're going to go second, fix 4. All right, you can set your calculator to round to wherever you need to round your answer to. It eliminates mistakes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through this little exercise, and we are going to express each ratio as a fraction and decimal to the nearest hundredth. And we've got a triangle, a right triangle. And it's got vertices Q, P, and R. Q, P, and R. And it's got lengths of 17, 17, 15, it looks like 8. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
First thing they're asking for, first thing we need is sine of P. Sin P means find the sine of angle P. What does sine equal to? You just wrote it down. Opposite over hypotenuse. Do you see angle P right here? Angle P is right here. What is the leg that is opposite of angle P? What side is opposite angle P? QR, which is how long? 15. What's the hypotenuse? 17. So in your calculator, you take 15, you divide it by 17, you hit equals. Everybody should have this. There's your sine of angle P. Cosine of angle P. What's cosine equal to? Say it again. Okay, so we're still looking at angle P. Here's angle P. Here's angle P. Which side is adjacent to angle P? Or what's the length of the side adjacent to angle P? 8. What's the length of the hypotenuse? 17. Take 8 divided by 17 in your calculator. Everybody should have 0.47. Now we're going to find tangent of angle P. What's tangent of an angle equal to? It's written on your paper. Opposite over adjacent. What side is opposite of P? 15. What's the length of the side adjacent to P? 8. What's 15 divided by 8? Anybody confused on any of that?
I am, because my internet just kind of cut out, so I got disconnected.
All right, well then you're going to have to, when I post the notes later, you're going to have to, yeah, you're going to have to pick up where you got lost.
All right.
Now we're going to do sine, cosine, and tangent, but we're going to do it for the other angle in this triangle, which is angle Q. Here's angle Q. So we are going to go sine of angle Q. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. What's the length of the side opposite of Q? 8. What's the hypotenuse? Now pay attention. Look up here. We don't need to divide 8 by 17 again, do we? We already did it. It's 0.47. So the sine of angle Q is 0.47. The cosine of angle P is 0.47. Okay? So let's do cosine. Cosine of angle Q. What's cosine equal to? Adjacent over hypotenuse. What's the length of the leg adjacent to Q? 15. The hypotenuse is still 17. We've already divided that. That's 0.88. Tangent of angle Q. Tangent equals opposite over adjacent. What's opposite of Q? Good. What's adjacent to Q? Good. 8 divided by 15, we haven't done that yet. That's 0.53. Those are your sine, cosine, tangent ratios for angles P and angles Q. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Boy, they cover a lot in one section of this book. I think it's too much for you, to be honest with you. Okay, what I want to do next. What is it, 9:21? What's that? Yeah, because people actually ask questions. They may have learned something today. I don't know. I hope so. See, they're already finding side lanes. Okay. So let me see what we got going on in this workbook. If they're asking you to find side lengths yet. Oh boy. Let's do this real quick. Or not real quick, but let's try this. Let's express each as a decimal. Let's make sure you can do that. All right. And let's say we got sine 30. All right, sine 30. In your calculator, you push 30, push the sign button, and what do you get? 25. All right. When you guys are finding sine, cosine, tangents of angles, you got to type the angle in first, and then the sin, cos, or tan button. So let's go like tan 57. What do you get? Tan 57, 1.54. We need more guys to answer, or more people to answer, other than the same person answering thank you, sir, answering every single time I ask a question. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Cheyenne Rollins, Miss Baez needs to talk to you. You go left, and then you go left, and she's the door just north of guidance. She's on the other side of this small pod right here. If you just keep turning left, it's going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4th door on the left. Let's try cos 40. This would be cosine of 40. What's that equal to? I got 0.77. You got your calculator set to second fix too? Uh-huh. That way we all get the same answers. So do you see how to find the sine, the cosine, or the tangent of an angle? Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well then let's move along and let me show you how to use this to find some side lengths in a right triangle. Okay? Let's do find x to the nearest hundredth. Let's find x and y to the nearest hundredth. So here, I'm going to do a straight up triangle first. This is where people stay real focused, because this is where people start getting lost every year. All right, we got an 18. We got a 25-degree angle. We got an X. And I'm going to do a Y. We're going to find this X first, okay? Here's our ratio. Here's our acronym. I need like extreme focus right now. This is where everybody misses it every year. And they don't even get it till like, I don't know, forever. You're looking at this problem. You're given an angle measure and you're given a side length, right? And you got to find two other sides. You ask yourself, in relation to this angle given, what side do I have? What's it called? Is it the opposite? Is it the adjacent? Or is it the hypotenuse? It's the adjacent side. Okay? What side do I want to find first? Do I want to find X first or Y first? You want to find Y first. So that's fine. So look, you've got adjacent and you've got hypotenuse. Agreed? You've got adjacent and you want to find hypotenuse. Did you just keep going left? What's that? Fourth door on the left. So there's the first one. There's the second one. The third one is Miss Legate. Keep going. Turn hard left. She's right next to guidance. Yeah, it looks like a classroom. It's like right on the back of this building. It would be like this classroom, but over there. Baez, Mrs. Baez, Miss Baez, B-A-E-Z. You see, all right, we're finding the hypotenuse. This x value, this is the opposite side, isn't it? In relation to this 25-degree angles. You with me? Everybody with me?
Yes.
Okay, somebody said we're going to find the hypotenuse. We're given the adjacent. What ratio deals with adjacent and hypotenuse? Which ratio deals with adjacent and hypotenuse? Cosine does, doesn't it? It's right here. Here's your cosine. So watch. We write cosine of 25 equals our adjacent side, which is 18, over, we're trying to find the hypotenuse, so we put a y right there. The cosine of 25 degrees is equal to the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. Everybody see that? And everybody understand why we picked cosine? We picked cosine of the angle because we were dealing with the adjacent and hypotenuse. And cosine deals with adjacent and hypotenuse. So now, don't mess with your calculators yet. We're going to solve for y. So watch. If the y is in the denominator, we multiply both sides by y. And on the right-hand side, the y's cancel, don't they? So in the next step, you have y times cosine 25 equals 18. If y times cosine 25 equals 18, you can divide both sides by cosine 25. And now the cosine 25's cancel. And our y, or the hypotenuse, is equal to, now take your calculator and type 18 divided by 25 cosine and push equals. And tell me what you get. 19.86. There's your hypotenuse. So next we're going to solve for x. So now, if we're solving for x in relation to our 25-degree angle, what two sides are we using? What are they called? Opposite and adjacent, right? Which ratio deals with opposite and adjacent? Opposite.
TOA.
Say again. Tan. Tan deals with opposite and adjacent. Now we're up here again. So we write our ratio that tan 25 equals the opposite side, which is x, over the adjacent side, which is 18. And these are the simplest types. Because now to solve for x, you can multiply both sides by 18. These 18s cancel. And in your calculator, you can type 18 times 25 tan. And you have to push equals. So what we get? 8.39 equals x. What are you guys in here till 10:07? Okay. Wasn't that fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too. I love trig. And it was so much fun, Avery, that what are we going to do? We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. All right, so let's try this one. Let's look at this triangle right here. Yes, sir. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because the two angles, the two acute angles in a right triangle are complementary, right? They sum 90. So let's put an X right here on the hypotenuse, a Y on the long leg, a 15 on the short leg, and a 70-degree angle. Now, you got to go through that sequence of questions again. You have to ask yourself, what am I trying to find first? Okay? So do you want to find X first or do you want to find Y first? Let's go alphabetical. Here's our angle. This may help you a lot in relation to the angle that's given. Label the sides, all right? Here's my hypotenuse. Here's my opposite. And here's my adjacent. Agreed? You found her? Nice job. So if we're going to find X first, X is the hypotenuse, and we're given the adjacent. Which ratio deals with adjacent and hypotenuse? Cosine. So cosine of 70 equals adjacent side, which is 15, over the hypotenuse, which is X. We multiply both sides by X. These cancel. And then I'm not going to rewrite this again because we're going to divide both sides by cosine 70. So that these will cancel. And our X, or our hypotenuse, is equal to 15 divided by 70 cos. Don't forget to hit equals. Anybody? Very good, 43.86. So X is taken care of. We're going to solve for Y next. We're going to use, and Y, which leg is Y? Opposite. And what are we given? Adjacent. What ratio deals with opposite and adjacent? Tan? All right, so I write tan 70 equals the opposite side, which is Y, over the adjacent side, which is 15. What do I do next? Somebody that hasn't said anything yet. Say again?
Multiply both sides by 15.
Attaboy, multiply both sides by 15. The 15s on the right cancel out. And then it's a calculator problem. 15 times 70 tan equals got it? It's a lot of information, but I'm going to give you some practice to do. Clear?
Yep.
Kayla, that a girl. All right, here's your practice for today. Page 103 in the workbook. One through 11. And then page 104. 1 through 5. And be sure that if you didn't finish yesterday's assignment because you didn't feel like it or you didn't understand it, you should understand it now and you can finish it. And when you have yesterday's assignment completely finished, then you check headline for homework. Or not headline, focus. Everybody understand what's going on? Anybody have any questions?
No.
You Zoom guys are free to exit the meeting and get to work on your workbook. If y'all don't have any questions, I'm going to end the Zoom meeting at this time.